Hello guys, so welcome to my channel. So today I'll be discussing with you the chapter law of demand. It is very important that you understand this chapter because this chapter is something which is very basic, and for studying economics it is very important that you understand law of demand, law of supply, and elasticity of demand and supply. So let me move on to the next slide. So in the first session we will be learning about the law of demand. It is very important that we understand the definition of law of demand. The law of demand states that when the price of a quantity price of a good increases, then the demand for that good will fall. That is, price and quantity demanded are inversely related. That is, if price increases, demand falls, and when price falls, demand increases. So you can see from the figure, that is graph, that the price when reduces from P1 to P2, the quantity increases from Q1 to Q2, right? So this is the law of demand, and law of demand states that other factors remains the same when price and quantity are inversely related. So it is very important that when you get such definition, that is the law of demand, it is important that you state that other factors are constant. Until and unless you state that this other factors are constant, then this whole definition doesn't hold true. So that is why I have just highlighted in red color that you have to ensure that you write other factors remains constant. So now we will be studying the law of demand, that is in law of demand, that is demand schedule and the demand curve. So the demand schedule is basically the tabular representation of price and quantity demanded, and whatever we plot from the table, we get the demand curve. So when the price reduces from 5, 4, 3 to 1, you see that the quantity demanded also increases from 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, since it is inversely related, then only we get a downward sloping demand curve as shown in the right hand side figure. Okay, is it clear? So when you get a question anywhere that in your exams, what is the difference between a demand schedule and a demand curve, you have to say that it is a tabular representation. The former is a tabular representation of the price and quantity demanded, and the demand curve is nothing but the graphical representation of the curve. Now I will tell you some examples which ensure the law of demand is followed. So suppose an example of apples. You see that sometimes there is shortage of apples. The shortage of apples may be due to poor harvest, or maybe there is a drought condition this year. So as a result, the prices of apple might go up. So as when prices go up for apples, the demand for apples is going to reduce, and more people will be inclined to purchase any other fruit, say guava or pineapple, any other fruit. Similarly, in case of prices of petroleum, when we see the price of petroleum increases, then the demand for petroleum will fall, because there is a mentality that if prices of petroleum increases, more people will be like not using their own personal vehicles for traveling, and might take the local transport to commute. The third example is the fast food meals. Suppose there is fast food available, and suddenly the fast food items prices uh, go up. Then obviously you will demand less of fast food and try cooking more at home. And the last example is discounting on clothing. This is a very brilliant example. So here you will here Suppose you have been eyeing for a clothing brand for a long time, and you see the brand provides a discount, a huge discount, right? So you will be inclined to purchase it. So what is this? When the price of the product reduced, your demand for that product has increased. So in this situation, we see that the law of demand has been followed. Okay, so let me move on to the next slide now. Now we will understand what is the causes of the law of demand. Causes, there are mainly three causes. That is the income effect, the substitution effect, and the diminishing marginal utility. So I will be explaining all these three topics in a much more detailed manner in the upcoming slides. Okay. Now we are looking into the mm, income effect. So income effect is basically uh, what it is. So when the price of the commodity falls, suppose you are willing to purchase an ice cream, and the ice cream price falls significantly, so you will be having more amount of money in your hand, so you will buy more of that product in the same price. So this is known as the income effect. So I have also represented it graphically. You see that when the price is falling for ice cream, then the quantity of ice cream is also increasing from 15, 30, and then 42. So, uh, so what happens is that price falls, quantity increases, and the disposable income that a person have in hand is also increasing. So, but however, we consider here the budget to be constant. Now we look into the section substitution effect. So substitution effect is nothing but, suppose you have a liking for say orange juice, and the price of orange juice increases suddenly. Obviously, when it increases, you will try and look for cheaper alternatives. A cheaper alternative might be lemonade, so you will be inclined to purchase lemonade. So the so when you are inclined to purchase a commodity which is much more cheaper than what you were buying before, then this is known as the substitution effect. I would suggest that whenever you write the definition of income effects or substitution effect or diminishing marginal utility, try to provide an example along with the definition. Then it will fetch you much more marks in examinations. Now we enter into the most important aspect of law of demand, that is the diminishing marginal utility. Now, to understand this, I will just take a example of a box of pizza. Suppose there are like four slices in the pizza. When you start eating the pizza, obviously, when you order the pizza, you will be like super hungry. So after it arrives, the satisfaction which you derive from the first slice of pizza is going to be the highest of all, and the second slide, and when you consume the second slide after the first slice, then your satisfaction will decrease to a slightest extent, and then when you consume the third slice, it will decrease further, and like fourth slide, you will be not be willing to have maybe more, or maybe like puking, like you might vomit out, or maybe you might like be overloaded. So this is what the diminishing marginal utility states. So what does it state? That a person, when he consumes more of this units of product, the satisfaction derived from the additional units tends to fall. That is the diminishing marginal utility. Here, the unit is the unit of pizza. That is the slices of pizza you're having at each time. So first pizza will give you more utility, and as you increase the amount of like pizza, you eat pizza, then your utility from that pizza will fall. This also implies that the consumers are willing to pay a lesser price when they consume more additional units of that product. So obviously, when you are already satisfied, you are not willing to pay more of that, more money on that product. So So the your willingness will also reduce for additional unit that you purchase. Here as well, in diminishing marginal utility, it is better that you put the definition and also a pizza. Here I have given a very good example of pizza. You can see the slice 1 gives utility of 8, and as soon when you reach slice 4, the utility has reduced to 2, and this would eventually get to negative satisfaction. Now we understand what are the assumptions that are considered for the law of demand. So there are a lot of assumptions that are considered so that the law of demand definition holds true. That is the when that is price and demand are inversely related. This is held true when all these factors which are mentioned in this slide are remaining constant. So, what we see first point is that the taste and preferences of the consumers need to be like unchanged. The prices of the other products or related products should remain unchanged. The population size also shouldn't change. Then, no expectation of a increase in the price in the future. Then, consumer income is also treated to be constant. There is no substitute of any product, and also the consumer habits should remain also the same. This all these things, like all these pointers which I mentioned, are very important, as this allows the law of demand to hold true. So it is so ensure that you consider all these points when you are asked for the assumptions of law of demand. Just note down these pointers so that you can write all these points based when you get such question that what are the law what are the assumptions related to the law of demand. So there are some exceptions to the law of demand. So what are the exceptions? That is the giffen goods, uh, Veblen goods, and there are also some other aspects which we are going to consider. Okay, so what are the giffen goods? Giffen goods are basically the inferior goods. It is seen that when the inferior good price rises, then the people of the lower income group don't move to purchase goods that are more expensive, or which are expensive alternative. Obviously, they have to buy the given good. Suppose most people have the staple um, food such as rice. So where rice if rice prices rises, then obviously, being it a staple food, low income group people will try to buy rice even though the price increases, but try to look for the inferior quality grade, maybe rice. So yet they will be purchasing rice since it is their staple food. So given goods are such goods which are inferior and considered to be a significant portion of the budget. Suppose rice is staple, so it is considered to be a significant portion of the consumer's budget. So, in in spite the rice being of poor quality, the consumer is going to purchase that product. Veblen goods are basically the luxury commodities. A lot of people try to flaunt like good luxury items to show their status. So similarly, when the such people try to purchase more of luxury goods should show their social status. As a result, demand for luxury goods increases even though when their prices increase. Along with that, we have seen that exceptions of law of demand holds true during the time of emergencies. Suppose there is an earthquake, and as a result, prices of a lot of commodities would increase. And in such a situation, people would try to buy products despite there is an increase in price of the product, because basic necessities, like a lot of people would be demanding at that time. Now we come to the end slide. So I have put together two questions. That is the these two questions, that is discuss the factors other than the price that can influence demand for the product, And if the price of luxury item decreases, what would you expect to happen to the quantity demand? Try to say me the answer in like very shortly in the comment section below, and I will look upon it and also comment on it. Okay, bye for now.